Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing Team Kings of Games. And today I'm going to be showcasing pure SHADDOLLs versus MADOLCHEs. This is like a trap-heavy MADOLCHE build that just runs quite a few different tech cards. This is part of the luxury tournament that I was in. This match particularly knocked me out the tourney, so I'm no longer in it. Because it's just single elimination. Like, once you lose your match, you're out. There's no, like, oh, whoever gets the highest points makes it to the top cut. It doesn't work like that. So I'm going to be showing this duel. It was a pretty cool duel. There was some very good back and forth between both of us. I think we both played our cards right for the most part. There wasn't really any misplays in this match. So this is just a good duel in general, and it's nice to always get these instead of just duels where you're like, dang, why did he do that? And then, people attack the duelists in the comment section. So I'm going to just fast forward a bit. Our opening hands, he opened a lot of, like, I don't know, he just opened weird. He opened a lot of tech cards or staples, but he has like no gas at all. So if he was going second, I gotta stop saying us so much. If he was going second, I don't really know what he was gonna do with this hand. Maybe top deck a starter. But right now he has 4 pieces of interaction. He has Imperm, Double Strike, Ice Dragon's Prison. My hand's gas. I have Mathman, Tinky, Patchwork, Foolish, and also Falco. For the Rogue tournament, I actually played Tinky to search out my Lunalight Black Sheep, and I also play Felice, the Lightsworn Archer, for Mathman interactions, because Mathman can do even more now. Now I could pop a monster in mill 3, I can make Synchros if I want to, and it also gives Tinky the ability to search a light attribute. So I have a lot of cool ideas with this deck that I just experiment with, and it's always nice to be able to try stuff like this in Rogue format, because it's not as degenerate, and it's more like a lot more back and forth interaction. So you don't have to play as many hand traps in Rogue format. In fact, you don't have to play any at all, and you'll still do totally fine. I think I won the dice roll here. No, I think he won the dice roll, so I'm gonna fast forward. Not gonna be very much. He's just gonna set 3 and pass. I start with Patchwork, so I'm trying to bait his Ash so I can resolve Gamma. So I tried to play all my gas first before I committed to Mathman, just so I could see if I could get him with Gamma, because that would just really help me. He did it, so I Foolish for Dragon, target his Ice Dragon's Prison, he's going to chain it, get the Dragon from me, and I'm going to press play. Gotta try to stop saying so Tinky searches Black Sheep, I'm going to discard the Black Sheep, get Polly. I think I probably should have started with Tinky for Black Sheep to see if I could force out a strike, but I didn't know what I was on. But maybe in the future, that'd be nice. You're up against trap decks, try to bait a strike with Black Sheep. Normal Mathman, of course that baits a strike. He's too powerful to let him resolve, to be honest. I know that some people might think it's incorrect to stop Mathman, but it's just way too strong. You can't let that card resolve. People really, like, they don't give Mathman enough credit. He's a really strong starter. So I've already pushed through 2 traps. I'm getting ready to get a Construct going here with the Falco and a Gamma. Since I couldn't bait him, I was like, alright bro, I'm going to commit to the Mathman. And that also ate the strike. So I like that I'm just devouring his back rows as I'm getting ready to actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! So now that I like played through the strike and the prison, now I can play. But some other decks, they will try to start playing and they'll have to play into these. But I like with like SHADDOLLs, I have all these powerful starters that can force out back rows and hand traps and negations. And even then, my fusion spells can still force negators, which is really cool. So the hand was good going first or second. So I'm just going to chain block Cons 1, Falco 2. And I send Hog so I can get Windy. And my next plan is to go ahead and do the poly combo with Windy, because I'm trying to amass a lot of advantage here. And then I do the Resh play for Ariel. He's going to strike again, so now I've hit another strike. So I just use Construct Attack Dragon. He takes no damage because this is mandatory, and Dragon was special summoned off Ice Dragon's Prison. That's why he didn't lose any life points, but he did pay 3 stacks with his Solemn Strikes. Now he's going to do something really weird, which I guess... he just Lightning Storms for 1, so I'm like, alright, cool. But I mean, he's pretty desperate right now. He doesn't have any starters at all. So I top deck Mathman. I flip the Falco to bring back Windy. Normal Mathman. I eat an Imperm. I was thinking here to go into Verde Anaconda, but at the same time, I still, let me check the damage that I need to do. This needs to be moved out the way in general. Why isn't this moving? It's not moving. It's not showing his life points. I don't know. It's just not showing his life points. But I just couldn't do enough damage, so I just decided, I'm just going to play poke game, and I'm just going to pass. Because if this dies, I get a draw, and if he kills this by any means that's not battle, it's just going to set itself. So I'm just going to play the poke game, keep my advantage, he lightning storms again, so then I attempt to use Falco, he's gonna gamma me. So he's like making really desperate plays right now. He doesn't have anything going for himself. He gammas the Falco to make Omega to rip my chain. And this is game next turn. I just flip Windy, bust out Beast, normal Geldogra. So as you guys can see, I'm playing Geldogra. I played 3 Mathmans and 3 Geldogras in my Rogue deck. This deck's different from the one I play competitive because, again, this is a totally different format. You don't have to deal with the crazy stuff that you deal with in just competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Rogue is still competitive. It's just very, very fair. It's very balanced, and it's way more fun because you don't have to deal with just nonsense. You really don't. So cards like this are pretty safe. You don't really have to worry too much about the life one. So I just dump up Cologne, grab L, pitch it, and then I'm just going to use it again to dump. And fast forward again. So now I'm pretty sure he's gonna go first again. I don't think I got to go first except like one time this whole duel. So opening hands, he has Judgment, Strike, Ice Dragon, Prison, Ash, and Angeli. I have E-Telly and a bunch of dolls. Even though I play, I think like what 18 or something fusion outlets, it still happens. This build originally main decked 3 Super Polys, which would have given me 21 fusion spells, but I decided actually to put in the Geldogras because Geldogra can search a fusion spell as well. So it still happens. You could build your deck perfectly to a T, and you'll still be that Dragon Link player that will draw Red Eyes, Darkness, Metal Dragon, Boot Sector Launch. You'll probably end up drawing like Nocto Vision, Infinite Impermanence, and Gamma or something like that. Even when you're running Perfect 40, it's always gonna happen, dude. It's all statistics. So, and also just luck. So he's pretty much just gonna not full MADOLCHE combo. He does a very conservative combo, which is pretty nice. It's not gonna play into a lot of stuff, and he's just gonna trigger Salon on Inface to get his Promenade. So let me see what these back rows are. He has Judgment, Prison, Strike, Promenade, Ash, and Pseudo DD Crow, which Glass Souffle is crazy against Shaddolls. Like, this could be a pretty tough matchup. I think MADOLCHEs and Shaddolls can go like to a T, back and forth, because Winda, Shikinaga, and Apollonia and Construct, every Shaddol fusion is really powerful against this deck. Schism is really good against this deck, even if you just want to summon Shikinaga to send something. And also, not the Strike and Judgment and the Prison, but MADOLCHE Promenade's pretty okay against this deck, and so is Glass Souffle. But if I was to compare it, I think Shaddolls have better tools. Like, these cards are not MADOLCHE cards, but it's still got a fair matchup against this deck because of Glass Souffle and Promenade. But then, whereas with Shaddolls, they have like a lot more toolboxing effects that can actually beat this deck. So I just think Shaddolls have the edge. It just depends who opens better. But if he just opened just a pretty standard MADOLCHE board and all he had was Promenade and hand traps, but not like Judgment, Prison, Strike, I think that Shaddolls will always have the edge if you just compare the best that MADOLCHE has to offer versus the best that Shaddolls have to offer. So not Shaddolls having like Ash, Nibiru, Gamma, Imperm, or Valor. Just the Shaddol cards against the MADOLCHE cards. I think the Shaddolls would still beat them downright. But anyways, I'm going to draw phase E-Telly here. I bring out a Windy. I'm going to try to go into the Construct Link. This is my desperate play. I attack Hookate first. I know it's going to trigger Salon. But truth be told, I did not want him to Promenade to bounce the Hookate back to his hand, because then Glass Souffle could just detach Pet for no reason, and he has a follow-up off of Hookake with Promenade. So I just I threw my battle phase, because in my mind, I'm like, you know, dang, like, I know he can snowball, but it's going to have to be a top deck at this point, because I didn't know this was Ash, but I'm thinking in my mind, like, I just don't want him to get any follow-ups that I'm giving to him. I want to take the ones that I can. So I threw my battle phase to make sure he can't bounce the Hookake. It just gets shuffled. So now he's sitting on Glass Souffle and Salon. He doesn't really have, like, and also another thing that my play did was it made it to where now he has to use Glass Souffle first in order to use Promenade. Otherwise, he's going to have to return his Souffle with this Promenade. So that's another thing that my play that I did in the battle phase did. It made his Promenade more awkward. But he still has Judgment, Prison, Strike, which is crazy. I'm not playing through it with this hand. If I had a couple fusion spells, I definitely could push through those back rows. He's going to strike on the summon of Construct. It took him a while. That's why I declared the effect. Otherwise, I wouldn't have declared effect. But I sat there and waited, and he still didn't. And then I declared the effect. Then he said think, and then that's when he strikes. So it almost looks like he striked the effect, but I'm pretty sure he wanted to strike the summon. And this is game. He extracts into a Ticket, and Ticket's going to get him what he needs because Souffle can actually trigger Ticket, and there he goes. So this is game right here. So I just scoop because I know he can over 8,000. Not gonna waste time. So this game is also interesting. This last one, game 3, we both opened extremely well. I would El Shaddol Fusion and draw phase to play around Valor, but Mathman is going to make the El Shaddol Fusion more powerful, so I wanted to commit in main phase. He has Evenly, which is okay, like it's okay against this deck, but I will show you guys how I play around Evenly in this duel. You guys are going to see some really cool big brain interactions that I don't think really any Shaddol players like would think of necessarily until after they see this video. So I'm going to press play and then fast forward. So I'm opening Mathman. He doesn't have any hand traps, so I'm going to send Felice. And then El Shaddol Fusion with Windy and Felice. Do my construct play. I'm just going to bring out Aerial. I could just full combo because he doesn't have hand traps. I'm going to grab L back off construct, do the Aerial play, cross sheep, bring back the Windy for advantage. And then I decide to take cross sheep and construct and a Verde. And as you guys see, my construct dumped Resh. This is what I typically do. I get L and Resh for my fusion plays. People go straight to Schism. I don't think that's correct. I think you get way more advantage looping construct off Resh endlessly. And also El Shaddol Fusion. Every time you fuse, you get advantage. Whereas Schism, basically, all it does is just fuse. That's it. And unless you're summoning construct, you don't get any value. So it's almost like marginal diminishing value. Even though, yeah, it could send a card, you get better interruptions off Res and L, if you ask me. Schism's just there in case you need to send a card that can be destroyed or, like, targeted. That's how I use Schism, unless I'm totally desperate. But I like Resh and L. I just think they're better. This is my way of playing it. And I'm going to use the Verde to summon Winda. So I set up a way, without knowing that he had Evenly Lightning Storm, I actually set up a way for triple Winda. The first Winda gets outed, I summon the second one. The second one gets outed, I bring it back off Resh. So I have triple Winda with this setup instead of going for Appaloosa, because Appaloosa can be baited. And Winda, really, you have to like have imperm, like literally. That's like, all I can think of is like imperm, chalice, or droplets, depending. And I don't even think I have Appaloosa in this build. So I send Shaddol Fusion off Verde instead of Poly, because I get more advantage that way, because now Shaddol Fusion's in Grave, he's going to be scared of it. He has 2 starters now. This is not live until Angeli resolves, but it's a follow-up. He has Evenly, Lightning Storm, Prison, and Promenade. This is pretty good. And my setup is just Windows right now. I'm not trying to use Resh yet. I didn't want to use my only special summon just yet. And which is really smart. I'm glad that I didn't just shotgun Resh for construct, because then I would have lost even harder to Evenly. So press and play, fast forward. He goes straight into battle phase. I say before you end battle phase. So what I did here was I decided to use L because I know what he's going to do. So instead of losing any of my Shaddol cards to the banish zone, here's what I do. So first I'm going to fuse into a second Winda. Using the Windy, I'm going to keep the Beast in hand because I want advantage. And the Windy is going to get banished anyway. Summon the second Winda. Use the Winda to get the El Shaddol Fusion back to hand. And then the next thing I do, I grab the Shaddol Fusion so he plays around it, which is, this is a really big brain play right here. A lot of people wouldn't catch this, but what I do here is I use Resh to summon Construct. I'm playing around evenly, and I send Dragon. Anybody would have sent Hedgehog or Beast or anything else, like another Shaddol spell or trap like Schism. I send Dragon because he can target any spell or trap on the field, and I pop my core so that way I can use core to recover another Shaddol card, which is going to be El Shaddol Fusion. Then he evenly, basically what happened was now, he evenly me for 1, and I did not lose any of my Shaddol spells or traps. They're still in rotation, so I still have recovery. So what I did was extremely smart, and this is something, you guys will learn this now, just from watching my replay, that anytime you get a setup like that and your opponent evenlies you, you can do what 3 stacks does, and you will play around the evenly, and you'll only lose 1 card, but you'll keep the most important cards, which is your Shaddol spells and traps. So it was definitely the correct play, 100%. That's how Duel just didn't really have any misplays. He didn't misplay, and neither did I. So now he just sets his prison and passes, and I set my chain, and I pass, so he's going to prison both my windows. This is what I was saying for Rogue format, because of how popular prison's becoming. I really think that it's going to be correct to just play triple window, because if I was playing 3 windows, when he banished both, I had an L face down, a chain, and a beast. So when he activates the Hookakes effect, I can chain L summon window. I know he has Promenade, but if you have it, you have it. The point is I could still summon the 3rd window, which is extremely important. So I definitely think from here on out, I'm going to be playing 3 windows. I was playing Draco Stapilia as a super poly target for the Buster Blader deck, so that I can just fuse off with the Buster Dragon and their fusion monster. But I think I'm gonna throw in a 3rd window. So this is game. I definitely lose. I accidentally put the cards he returned with Tiramisu to my hand, so I just put the chain and the L to my deck, which kind of sucked that they went to the deck. And he's going to be able to get lethal on board pretty easily. He doesn't do anything flashy, he just does just enough. And that's game, you guys. That's pretty much it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this duel. Hopefully you guys learned from this. And yeah.